I am not a whore. 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 But I like to do it.
No, I am not a whore. But I am a mod whore. I am VaporWatch. I am owner of vapingwatch.com, and I am a host on vapenet.com. I've been getting a lot of requests to do a quick video on how I do my short wicks. I don't use a long wick in my Genesis device. As you can see, there's no wick down into the juice, and works fantastic. Get fantastic flavor, excellent vapor. Never get a burnt flavor. It's exactly what I look for in a device. I've tried the stainless steel rope. I've tried the ceramic wick. I've tried wrapping my stainless steel mesh around a silica wire. I've tried everything. Every time I mention that I use a short wick, somebody tells me, oh, you need to try this, you need to try that. And I've tried everything that they have given me to try. So I can't find anything else to try that's better. So I'm always using my short wick. And honestly, it works better than anything else I've used. People say, what you got to tilt? Does it look like I'm tilting that? There's not juice all the way up to the top. You don't have to tilt them. The fact is, you're going to vape like this anyway because it's comfortable. Nobody vapes like this. Come on, seriously? You vape. Like that. So, that works just fine. I haven't found anything else that works better. So here it is. I'm going to give you a quick video of how I do this. I do use the Peter K method. I think it's the best method of getting a perfect coil every time. I haven't had any troubles with them, so I'm going to keep using them until something better comes along. Yes, I've tried all the other options for that as well, and Peter K works the best. So, first things first. You want to, I use a 38 or 28 gauge wire. First things first, you can see that is not quite, I mean just a little bit more, you can see it's a little bit yellow right there at the tip. And what you want to do is you want to heat your coil up, your wire, until it's just red all the way down the line. You want to do that while you're pulling it tight. Now obviously you don't want to pull it so tight you're going to stretch it, but you do want it tight so that it straightens it out. Essentially, I'm a firm believer in starting with a perfectly flat coil. It needs to be perfectly straight because any little dips or wrinkles or anything like that that are in it are going to dip or cut into your mesh wick. So I go all the way down the line, straighten the wire out. I'm going to cut off this little last bit. Normally I would use pliers to straighten out every bit of it, but for the purposes of this video I just want the sake of expediency. So I use a 14 gauge syringe to wrap my coils and my wick. The reason I use this is because it's handy. You can use anything you want. I've used that. I've used the center pin from an AGAT. I used a 12 gauge wick or wire or syringe. It doesn't matter what you use as long as you like it, as long as you're happy with it, as long as it works good for you. Now, here's another step. I don't know if everybody does it, but I do it. When I wrap my wick, I wrap it as tightly as I possibly can. So basically, I want to make sure that I have a good uniform coil all the way down. I do any kind of manipulating to the coil before I put it on. I check them, make sure that they're all straight and where I want them to be. Make sure they're not touching, evenly spaced, yada yada. You get the picture. There's no real rocket science in this part. Make sure it's tight. Alright, so that's that. Let me get my cutters and cut that little bit off there. So that's my coil. Now, personally, this is a personal preference thing. I like my negative screw to be, if you're looking at the coil, I like it to be to the left. The reason for that is when you go to tighten your negative post down, it makes the wire just a little bit tighter, and I like that. And then I wrap this around that side around this side of the positive post. Again, the reason why is because it makes it tighter. Wrap it all the way around. I have 2 Phillips heads in the whole bunch. Of course, I grab the one that I don't need. Same reason I like the going around this side is when you tighten this top post down, it tightens the wire up. That doesn't have to be extremely tight, folks. Just tighten up to where the wire doesn't slip out. Same thing with the other one. I'm going to take my flush cutters. Which, by the way, if you don't have a pair of these are very handy. You should get a pair. They're called flush cutters, and they cut stuff off flush. Imagine that. They live up to the name. There you go. One other thing that I do with this, some people may not do this, but I certainly do it with all of mine. If you look on that, you'll see how off of the negative screw, that wire is sitting right on the base, or on the top of the deck. So what I do is I go under it, lift it up just a little bit, and then I push down while I'm lifting it up on the other side. What that does is it makes a little area. You see what I mean there? Comes off the screw, goes straight up, and then it goes over. Gives you a more equal heating. It doesn't allow the deck to act as a heat sink. It works better. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull that out, and then I'm going to fire this coil. Always fire first. That's actually a little close to the deck still, so pop this back in it. Actually, I didn't get that tight enough. I don't know how it came loose, but it came loose. Damn it. Opposite and then top down. There we go. Well, that shouldn't get loose again. Now, that wire that's on the deck, again, just lift it up, And there you go. And that little lip that raises up. And again, heat it up. There you go. Now, for the wick, start with this again. And I don't use much wick. You can see this is not very big. It's exactly an inch. You don't need much. What I do is a thin wall hollow wick on these short wicks. Personally, I'm using 500. I don't think that matters. I've tried it with 400 as well as 325. Worked equally well. I just like 500 better. I don't really have a reason why. Wrap it around that until you know it's going to maintain a round shape. You'll notice I did not oxidize this or burn it in any way. I did boil it, but that's it. Now you're going to take it and you're going to run it. You're going to basically do this until it gets to the right size. And it doesn't take long, it just takes a little bit of patience. Now the funny part is you know, I'm using this wide of a piece, which is definitely long enough to make a whole wick out of. But I'll get 3, maybe 4 wicks out of this. I think 4 feet of 500 mesh that I have is going to last me for a very long time. And let me see if this is the right size. Yep. You see it's kind of tight. You have to kind of screw it down in there. Now, that is the point where it just went to the deck. I'm going to push it in just a little bit more. That much more. It's about that far below the deck. That's it. It doesn't go through to the bottom. Let me see if I can pull it back out. You can see that's it. Before I push it in, it's right at 1.5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and push it in. This is it. After. You can see it's not in very far. 1/8 of an inch. Not even 1/8 of an inch. A little bit less. Now, as far as oxidizing, that's what I'm doing. And you want to look for any obvious bad hot spots. You don't see any, then you lengthen the time that you're pushing the button. And it will usually start top and bottom like that. You notice it's turning blacker. It looks like I'm getting a hot spot top and bottom that aren't going away. So, in that case, toothpick, just nudge the top, nudge the bottom, and usually that will even it right out. There you go. Nice, even coil. Now, I'll fire it several times because sometimes a hot spot will just kind of pop out of nowhere. But usually once you get it, it's good to go. Now I'm going to cut it off. And that is a short wick. And like I said, they work fantastically. At that point, you just break it in like normal. Fill it up like normal. All of these are short wicks. I don't know how many of these I can hold, but I'm running out of. There we go. You get the picture? I've done this a few times. Here. I've done it a few times. It works fantastically. I haven't found anything that works better. And yes, I've tried them all. So, I challenge you. Try a short wick. Compare it to whatever else you've got. Let me know what you think. You can always email me. My email is, amazingly enough, watch@vapingwatch.com. So, let's see here. There you go. Watch@vapingwatch.com. I guess that should be a little bigger that way. There you go. There's my email address. Email me. Let me know what you think about this, because I am curious to know if everybody else will have the same experience I did. So, yeah. That's the short wick. And hope you liked the video. We'll see you next time. Watch out.